Howdy folks. Today I'm going to do a prop build. This is a kit from Fieldmarshal at War Machine Incorporated that I purchased after seeing Adam Savage's video on Tested. And when I create my own props, I want something that looks and feels like the real thing, and this is as close as I've seen for the Mandalorian blaster. It's got real wood grips, brass bits, trigger works, and is all made out of aluminum and stainless steel and some brass. So I've already spent quite a few hours actually going through and sanding most of the machining marks off of these. I don't mind some of the machining marks, and generally kind of cleaning up the parts. There was quite a bit of, on my particular part, there's quite a bit of burr in here. And this actually, you can literally see the labeling from the piece of material that they had milled this down from, so I had to sand that down. And then the other thing is that the blaster on the show actually has these as two separate pieces, and the War Machine piece doesn't come with this little seam. So what I actually did is set up a poor man's lathe using a triangular file and sanded that, or cut that groove in, and then I'll actually only be blackening this up to here. So these are the parts that are going to be blackened, and this little tray is all the other parts that go with the assembly. I also have some walnut stain for the wood, and some crystal polish, which is also supposed to be good for the wood. So the first step is to clean all these parts. Alright, so I'm going to be using some acetone, alcohol, and then a bath of water, soapy water, to clean these parts, as much oil as possible, of course wearing gloves. Starting off with some chamois that are clean. Goal here is to get rid of as much oil as possible. Okay. So to blacken the aluminum parts of this Mandalorian blaster, I bought some Jax aluminum blackener along with some stainless steel versions for the some of the other smaller hardware. I've already tried to kind of brush this on, and it kind of comes out splotchy. So I'm going to try pouring and dipping. I don't know if this will be deep enough to do the whole gun. Probably not. So I might have to swish it around a little bit. I bought the 16-ounce bottle. Alright. Let's give it a try with a little simpler piece that if I have to sand, it'll be easy enough to sand here. So, dip that in. Interesting, it's coming out brown instead of black. It's got a little black spot on the back. I'll try flipping the part over maybe. I think I'll do one other experiment while I'm waiting on this part. I'm going to experiment masking this. You can do this for a circuit board, PCB, with ferric chloride, mask it, then clean that mask off, and that might help with this part where I want to not have a black finish on half of it. So let's give that a try. For that I'm going to use a brush. It's almost like you need to brush it on like this. So maybe the brushing action actually helps it work a lot faster. Instead of just dipping it. Good news is, I believe the masking works. So let's rinse this off. Dry it. Yeah, look at that. You can mask the blackening agent. Yeah, you can see here where it just dribbled out that it does blacken, so I think brushing is required. It's all a learning experience. You gotta experiment and try. Alright, so I guess we're gonna finish this part. So we'll try, just keep brushing it until we get the look we're looking for. It seems that brushing is required. See it darkening before your eyes. I wonder if the dip method doesn't work because there might be an actual, the chemical reaction might actually block the rest of the chemical reaction. So I know when you do a circuit board, you kind of have to agitate the ferric chloride. Alright, now that I'm doing a larger piece, I can actually start to kind of smell a reaction going on, so I'm going to go grab a fan after this part. Make sure I have something running. Keep some air circulating. But I think we're getting close. I gotta say, I am really liking how this looks. It's got a matte finish to it. It is fairly even. I can't see that one streak. There's a little bit of, splotchiness in a few places, but it is an antique finish. I think that actually looks really cool. Alright, let me go get a fan, make sure I don't kill myself over here. Alright, let's keep going. Let's go with the other door. So what I think I'm going to do now is dip it and then use the brush to keep the fluid moving. Look at that. Turning black. This is not sped up. This is real time. Oh, there goes the GoPro. Alright, sorry about the fan noise, folks, but I'm dealing with a chemical here that obviously I don't want to be breathing fumes, so I got air blowing in. So I got two more components left to do. the gun, body, and the muzzle. Now the muzzle I only want to blacken this front edge. This part should stay basically just the aluminum color. So I already did a test, and apparently I can use a Sharpie, which is a great good thing, because that means I can just clean this off easily after the fact. Now if the masking doesn't work, I can always go back and sand this afterwards. Well, hopefully there's enough of this chemical reaction left to do the main gun. I was too afraid to do the main gun first just because I wanted to make sure I knew exactly how to get this applied. But it's not reacting on here as fast as it was. There we go. That's pretty. Take some alcohol and clean off the Sharpie. I am super pleased with this part. Holy cow. That looks cool. Alright. Okay. Time for the big boy. Alright, how am I going to attack this? Looks like I've already got some drips on it. I think we'll start with this side first. Try to keep it going. I was hoping this container would be big enough to dip it, but I guess I didn't check before I started everything else. I notice once you get it going, it kind of stays on, so it's almost like you gotta stop it from beating up. You gotta scrub it around until it stops beating up. Very interesting that it really requires the brushing. So you see the areas that got wet that I haven't brushed are actually still silver. Next time I need a bigger container, big enough to dip it, and maybe 2 bottles. Get in here where the trigger mechanism is. The other areas, so the ends are finally getting there. Yep. About to call it done. First I need to do a little cleanup because this one was a little messier. Leave that there for a second. Dip this one in the water. Need to make sure and get all the chemical out of the various holes. Oh, there we go. I think with a little bit of weathering, see how well the first part I did matches. Pretty good. A little bit of a difference, but alright. We've blackened our aluminum parts. And now I'm going to try blackening these stainless steel parts using the stainless steel activator and a blackener. These two plates are part of my Mandalorian control knob project that's on the RPF, and they're made of stainless steel, so that'd be a good test piece to do, so I know exactly what they're made of. 304 stainless steel. Cleaning them with acetone first. Alright, let's see here. So this one says to immerse the pieces in the solution. Alright, so that's why I pulled this guy out. Grab ourselves another cheap brush just in case we've got to do some scrubbing. Alright. Bubbling action going on, so, and I am wearing safety goggles, by the way, and dealing with these chemicals. Alright, assume I need to dry in between steps, prevent cross-contamination. Oh wow, look at that. It's basically instant. Oh, don't want to brush it. It scratches off. Almost agitated. Let's go ahead and move these couple of pieces that are bubbling here. They may not have been stainless, they might just be carbon steel, but it sure looked like stainless. Almost instantly black. Amazing. Pull him out. Dip him in water. That's some good stuff. Definitely not as nice as the aluminum black. So yeah, it'll blacken things, but you're gonna have to coat it without ever, I guess, rinse and dry and never touch it. That's okay. These were experimental parts, most of this. Alright, the next thing I'm going to be doing is applying some walnut stain, which I've already diluted in this bottle. And I've already kind of applied it to the back of this one, giving me an idea. I think I'm going to go a little bit darker, so I might need to make myself a new bottle. It says 1:1 with water, but I'm going to go, I think, do 2 of these. do 3 of the stain. I've already sanded these pieces. I've also sanded them while clamped to the handle so that this back edge and everything, so there's as little seams as possible. Alright. Take a look at these with the gun. See if I don't want them any darker. I think it'll be pretty good. Alright, time to get this blaster put together. Now please understand this is not an instruction manual. I know there will be people who watch this video after they've bought this and say, hey, how'd you do this or that? If you bought this, you know that the instruction manual is extremely sparse. You kind of got to figure it out as you go along, just based on the pictures. Might end up having to go watch Adam Savage's video. They kind of at least put it in order, but they didn't show you really good pictures of how it went together either. Point of no return on some of these parts. I'll apply the glue to the part. I know some people have made this piece brass colored with some paint and things. I did actually try. Tried this kind of pure gold metallic. Just made it look like painted gold. And this also just tarnished brass. Neither one of them looked good no matter what I did, so I'm going to just stick with the black. I can always sand that if I need to. Of course, this is going to get all scratched up during the assembly, disassembly, but that's exactly what happened. The Mandalorian was taken apart, cleaning his blaster, assuming they got to take apart their blasters. Yep. Trigger, pin, tiny spring, pin, spring is in, trigger's in, here we go, big pin, springs kind of have a bend. You want to go one way. Yeah, that should be it. Yep. Okay. Now, before I button that up, I want to oil this. Drop on each pin. This might be gummed up over here. Yep. So let's grind the rail down a little bit. That now nicely slides on. And I can take it off again, importantly. Let's see here, look at the diagram. This guy goes here, and this guy goes in here. So I don't know if they had these holes for pins or not. I have some pins. Might be able to put in there. These are actually for the Pip-Boy project. Yes, I know. I'm actually still working on that, believe it or not. So, but these are 2mm. Looks like I might need to enlarge those holes. These are actually press fit PIM insert kind of pins, but they will work perfectly for this. Might end up being a hair too long. There we go. Like I said, sorry this isn't the best camera angle, just trying to get it done here. Super glue, of course, is going to set up as fast as super glue sets up. Love how it already looks used. Beat up just during assembly. Just put the grips on. So like I said, I already went and sanded the grips so that the back edge matches perfectly. And the front edge. Looks like I got some oil coming out. That's okay. This whole gun's gonna probably get a coat of oil in the end. And then the last bit is the sight. Nice part about working with metals, even if I super glue it, you can always just heat it up. And the super glue will come right off. Not worried about any of this excess glue. I'm going to be doing a whole weathering pass. Thinking before I attach this, I'm going to do a weathering pass on this particular piece because it's the only thing that's a little too darn glossy. So these are acrylic paints, model washes that I used on the Jedi training remote using Trooper Trent's excellent guide. He's definitely made it so that I'm a lot more confident with getting things painted and washed and not worrying about doing things like this. You can always wipe it off, wash it off. When you're working with metal, there's not too many things that are 100% permanent. There we go. No longer perfectly shiny and clean. Because nothing in the Star Wars universe should be perfectly shiny and clean unless you like Phantom Menace. That's pretty good. Well, there's the initial build before I actually have done any aging. As you can see, the aluminum chemical, since it's a little fragile, kind of just ages as you put it together. A little bit of speckling, parts coming off. Either I didn't have it perfectly clean. I know when they do this professionally, you actually got to put the parts in like an acid bath before you go ahead and do the blackening agent. And the acid bath guarantees there's absolutely nothing left. Alright, but let's get ahead and do some washes. I'm even going to use maybe some of the stain. And I need some black paint. Again, don't worry about how messy, muddy this looks. A couple things we're going to be doing here, trying to fill a little bit of these gaps while also applying some aging. There we go, I like that. This needs to get broken up a little bit. Connection between these two surfaces kind of needs to get merged. The trigger needs some dirt. So even though we did blackening on the aluminum, I want to kind of try to fill that gap. That's just basically the base. And a real gun would get through dirt, and then somebody would have cleaned it off, got dirty again, cleaned it off again. And so this is kind of just leaving dirt behind. It also adds a different shade of black. Alright, let's go with some of the other colors we got here. This gun wouldn't necessarily be rusty, but it needs multiple layers of colors to kind of sell the whole effect. Now I don't know where to put my brush. Oh, there we go. Most of this gets wiped off, and I deliberately keep using the same dirty rag because then you'll leave prints behind and extra dirt and things that look more natural. I want that to completely fill up with the liquid in there. Probably need to go do a pass of wear marks. So for that, use the emery board. browns. Almost need some blue for front of the gun to make that look like it was hot. Right now I'm trying to do is make sure that none of the marks that I hit look like they're brand spanking new. And, oh yeah, some polish on the walnut. Not that it really needs it. Curious what this looks like on the whole thing. It kind of adds a brown effect, which is actually I like. Changes the tone of the black. It's not taking any of the black off, so it should help seal it in and make it look more like an oiled gun. So sure, let's apply that everywhere. I'm really surprised this isn't removing all the effects, considering it says it's a polish. Instead, it seems to be more like a wax in something really volatile. As far as smell, whatever's in here flashing off. Alright, there it is, folks. I am really happy with this. Looks like it came right off the set. It is got all sorts of patina already built into the piece, even though it's brand new. Lots of little details. I do kind of wish the safety moved and this would open, but